Okay, so we had seen till Hanuman putting in efforts to find out Sita, and finally how he starts blaming everything around, blaming himself. First, that I'm not able to find Sita. How will I go and face people around there? How will I face Rama? How will I face Sugriva? And so on. So all these different questions come to his mind. Okay, so let's continue. So Hanuman first he prays. To whom does he pray? Let's have a look. Samuhurtamihadhyatva चिन्तावग्रथितेन्द्रियः उदतिष्ठन्महातेजा हनुमन्मारुतात्मजः. So as usual, Hanuman, he regains his senses. Now, why he regains his senses? Because he was totally blinded. He didn't know what to do when he was not able to find Sita. Finally, he says, no, I should not give up. Let me pray. Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasya Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudraendrayamanileभ्यः नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः. So here finally, this verse, if you remember, we had seen last time whenever a thing is lost also, usually this verse is chanted. So wherein Hanuman prays to Rama, Lakshmana, Janaka, sorry, the daughter of Janaka, that is Sita, Rudra, Shiva, Indra, Yama, and Vayu. And he also prays to the sun god, moon god, and the Maruts. So after praying further, he enters Ashokavanam. Now, after the prayer, there is a thought that comes to his mind that I have not seen only one place, that is Ashokavanam. Let me try my luck. So basically, Hanuman did not imagine, or the thought did not come to his mind that Sita would be there in Ashokavanam, but still he tries his luck. Just as it happens, right, for us also. Maybe you are trying to search something, you search the entire house, but maybe one place you leave, assuming that it will not be there. But say you come across that place and you finally find the thing, we are very happy. Then we say, no, I didn't even ever imagine that I'll find the thing here, but I got it. So the same thing happens here with Hanuman. He finally enters Ashokavanam, and then what exactly he sees in Ashokavanam, it's a very beautiful garden which was maintained by Ravana and his, of course, his attendants. And then he hopes, saying that he waits, he climbs on a Shimshipa tree and he hopes that Janaki or Sita will come there, because still he did not know that actually Sita was sitting under the tree only, because first of all he had never seen Sita. Secondly, he never imagined that Sita will have to live here in Ashokavana. So he waits thinking that Sita might come here because this is the only place where I have not searched for Sita. Finally, Sarga 15 is Drishta Sita. Hanuman sees Sita, one of the important Sargas. Now, sitting on top of the tree, Hanuman has a view of the entire Ashokavana, what exactly is around, which trees are there, and so on. Little bit here, the monkey nature of Hanuman is seen. Now, looking at a garden full of fruits and trees, obviously any animal, especially monkeys, do get excited. So Hanuman, that's why he was looking at a view of the entire Ashokavana. And finally, he sees a lady who was sitting in the middle of various Rakshasis, and assumes or he makes a guess here that it can be Sita. Now here why the statement is made guess, because he had inside the palace of Ravana, when he saw Mandodari and other ladies, he had assumed Mandodari to be Sita without making any conclusion, without thinking anything. He directly jumped, saying that no, this is Sita only. Aspotayamasa chuchumbapucham. We had already seen this before, right? So here now one mistake if we do once, the next time we don't commit it, right? We think 10 times. So the same thing here, Hanuman also, because he had mistaken Mandodari to be Sita, this time he analyzes properly, he looks and he guesses that this might be Sita, but still he does not agree. And looking at her ornaments and the garments and so on that she had worn, he assumed that it might be Sita because he had already seen Rama and Lakshmana wearing the same type of garment, same type of clothes. So he assumed that this might be Sita. And finally, he jumps to the conclusion that this lady is none other than Sita only. This is Sarga 15. Now, what does he see? What is the condition of Sita in Ashokavana? ततो मलिनसंवीतां राक्षसीभिः समावृताम् उपवासकृशां दीनां निःश्वसन्तीं पुनः पुनः ददर्श शुक्लपक्षादौ चन्द्ररेखामिवामलाम्. Beautiful description of Valmiki. And then, just as in the Shukla Paksha, when the crescent moon is seen in the sky, it is so pale, right? Initially, after the Amavasya, when we have the beginning of Shukla Paksha, in the initial few days, how thin the crescent moon is. Similarly, Sita was also looking. She looked very sad, very dejected, and as if upavasa krisham dinam. So she had not eaten for many days together. She looked very bad, or she looked, her condition was very bad to look at. Next. पीतेनैकेन संवीतां क्लिष्टेनोत्तमवाससा सपङ्कामनलङ्कारा विपद्मा विमपद्मिनी. But the cloth that she was wearing was of excellent quality. Now, why here of yellow cloth meaning here is pite? You should not consider it as yellow as such. You can consider as bark ornaments that are wear, which usually sadhus wear. So why yellow color ornament? But little, if you see, it will not be totally orange. You have to note one thing here. Pite naikena. Little bit, it was a yellowish tinge because Anas. The lady, yes, Sanjay did correct, correct, that's what. Yeah, that's what. So that's why it was the ornaments as well as a cloth also, if you see why it had a yellow tinge, because it is a, and you can say a mark of Saubhagyam. That's why you see ladies at times, I don't know, even if in today's times people do, you take the turmeric, right? What do you call that? Manjal, as we say in English, what do you call it? Turmeric, the whole turmeric that is there. Women have a habit of applying it on their face, cheeks, head, and so on, and then usually they take a bath, right? So these are all you can say signs of saubhagya, which should always be done. Now, why this is being done is it was a tradition in those times that women always apply the kunkuma on their forehead, right? That is on top of it. Let's not say on the forehead, but while we take a bath, obviously that kunkuma flows down, right? It goes away. So that's the reason to ensure that Saubhagyam is there, they used to apply this turmeric, the whole turmeric that is there, so that Saubhagyam is always maintained. Why this was to be done is usually if you see when kunkuma also is washed off, when we wash our face also, kunkuma is washed off, right? When usually kunkuma is washed is when a woman loses her husband or during the time of death. At the time when you pour water also, the kunkuma comes off automatically. So when we take a bath also the same thing happens. So therefore that should not be done. That's why we apply little bit turmeric, whole turmeric that is there. That is also yellow in color. So yellow, it is a sign of Saubhagya. So here also if you see Sita's clothes had a tinge of yellow because as such she was not a sannyasi, because or she had not lost her husband also, because she had followed Rama and Lakshmana to the forest, her clothes had a tinge of yellow. This is one explanation. Second explanation you can consider as because as usual Anasuya had given her clothes. So yellow here you can consider as bark garments only, but it looked quite fresh because Anasuya had given her new clothes, ornaments and so on. So though she looked dejected and as if she had not eaten food for many days, still her garments were very, very good. It was of excellent quality. Now, this reference of this yellow thread or yellow cloth that is there, it has got significance even in the Mahabharata reference. Draupadi's sari was also yellow. Though she was a married woman, she was not a sannyasi also. While Dushasana was sorry, pulling her robes, Krishna gave her the sari which was also of yellow color. Why so? Because it is said that the sari which Krishna gave to Draupadi was woven through the thread, through the Mangalyam thread of the 100 wives of the Kauravas. This was a sign that all the 100 wives of the Kauravas were going to lose their husbands soon. That's why from their Mangalyam thread that is there, that is the Mangal Sutra thread that you call, from that the yellow thread was being pulled and a sari was woven for Dushasana. So in short, all this indicates that the yellow color or yellow thread, yellow clothes that are there, they are a sign of Saubhagya. That's why whenever you women come to our house, we give them manjal kunkuma, right? Even kunkuma also, if you see the original form is actually yellow only. Later, after a lot of you can say different the things that are added in a kunkuma, it becomes red in color. Okay. You want to say something, Sanjay ji? Hmm. Correct. Yeah, now why here it is given as soiled is because Sita was there now. Anasuya had given her good clothes, but now because Sita was had not, you can say she was not interested in anything, right? Because she was there in Ravana's abode. So that's why it had become little soiled also, because she was not interested in doing anything on taking care of herself and so on. That's why it's mentioned soiled, but the garment itself was good. Okay. अश्रुपूर्णमुखीं दीनां कृशामशननेन च शोकध्यानपरां दीनां नित्यं दुःखपरायणाम्. Her face was always filled with tears. Ashtapurnamukhim Deenam, she was full of grief, dejected, but she still looked, though she was in grief, she looked as if she was meditating on someone or something in tears. She was meditating on Rama alone. Next. प्रियं जनमपश्यन्तीं पश्यन्तीं राक्षसीगणं स्वगणेन मृगीं हीनां श्वगणाभिवृतामिव. She was not able to see Rama, Lakshmana, and her dear family around. She was surrounded by all kinds of rakshasis. And it is as if a very beautiful simile comparison made by Valmiki. He says, Swaganena mrigim hina mrigim. Just as a female deer, doe, when as she is separated from her herd, what will be her condition? Same condition was of Sita also. तां समीक्ष विशालाक्षीम् अधिकं मलिनां कृशां तर्कयामास सीतेति कारणैरुपपादिभिः. Tarkayamasa. Tarkam meaning to make a guess. So looking at all this, Hanuman guesses that this has to be Sita only. Or he feels that this will be Sita. But here still, see, Tarkayamasa Siteti Karanairupapadibhihi. Why purposely this line is used is Hanuman, he guessed it was Sita for strong reasons. Karanairupapadibhihi. Because why this has been mentioned specifically is, as I told you, he was cheated, right? He didn't get the right conclusions. Therefore, now he has to be 100% sure before he takes any action. अबलामृगशाभाक्षीं वीक्षमाणां ततस्ततः बाष्मामुपरिमूर्णेन कृष्णवक्राक्षिपक्ष्मणा वदनेन प्रसन्नेन निश्वसन्तीं पुनः पुनः. She just was looking here and there in search of Rama as if Rama will come, but her eyes were full of tears. Now, if you see all the verses that are there, the meaning as such is said, Ashrupurnam Khemdinam, Vadanena, Prasannena, and so on. So the same thing, her face was unhappy, it was full of tears, this, that. Same thing is being repeated again and again. Why so? It's not that Valmiki was short of verses. He had to complete 2000 plus verses, so he included the same thing again and again. Just as all of us also, if you have to write something on any topic, and if you fall short of words or thoughts, what we do? The same sentence, we change the tense, this and that, we change the wordings and we write it. You see, especially kids also, they'll do this. In school times, you have to write an essay or something. Once they finish writing, once they get no new points to add in, the same thing, whatever they've written above, the same they'll copy paste below. They'll just maybe change the tense words here and there. So it is not at all like that here. Valmiki purposely, why he does this is to emphasize and to show that now, when one thing is told to us once, it's not of much importance, right? We forget. But if the same thing gets repeated 4 or 5 times, we become serious about it. We seriously think over this. The same thing here also. Valmiki tries to emphasize and show that Sita was in such a bad condition. That's why he repeats this again and again. Malapankadaram mandanarha mamandita prabham nakshatrarajasya kalameghairivavrata. She looked like the moon which is covered by dark clouds, just as Rakshasis had surrounded her. Further, Sarga 16. Looking at all this, finally Hanuman concludes that this lady has to be Sita, but he feels very bad over Sita's condition and feels that now, truly, after looking at Sita, I feel that whatever Rama did, all this is meaningful, and he feels very sorry. He says, Sarvan Bhogan Parityajya Bhartrasneha Balatkrita Achintayitva Dukkhani Pravishta Nirjanam Vanam Santushta Phalamulena Bhartrashushroshaने रता या परां भजते प्रीतिं वनेऽपि भवने यता सेयं कनकवर्णाङ्गी नित्यं सुस्मितभाषिणी सहते यातनामेताम् अनर्थानामभागिनी. Till this juncture that is there, till Hanuman finally sees Sita, Hanuman always had a thought like, I don't know if he had seen this in the first session. Hanuman always had a thought that in his mind that Rama was wasting his time or was putting zeal or whatever Rama was doing that was all useless in order to find Sita, because as such Hanuman had never seen Sita, and for Hanuman Rama was the only Lord. So he was ready to do anything for Rama, but the same thing for Sita, little he used to always think. Now, for this, there are many reasons. One is Hanuman never had a relationship with any woman. He was Naishtika Brahmachari. So, therefore, he did not know the relationship between a husband and a wife. This was one thing. Secondly, in those times, if a man lost his wife also, it was very easy to find someone else and marry because, or anyways, people had many wives or many partners, as you had in the Mahabharata times also, wife having many husbands and so on. So if one goes away, it doesn't matter at all, right? Because I have one more. So this was a tendency in those times. So Hanuman, though he never told this from outside, he always had this thought within, and therefore and Rama knew this. Therefore, that's the reason why Rama, he had belief on Hanuman. He gave the mudrika. He gave his ring also to Hanuman. Told him that if you find Sita, you go. Because Rama also felt from within that Hanuman is capable to do this. And secondly, he wanted Hanuman to realize the importance of, or what exactly is the importance, the relationship between a man and a woman. That is a husband and a wife. And here, when he finally sees this, that's when we saw, right, in the previous slide, Hanuman feels that whatever Rama did had some meaning, because till now Hanuman felt that Rama is just like a lost man. He's just searching for his wife. Instead of doing all this, marry some other woman and you be happy. Why you are fighting for just one woman? Hanuman always felt this. A very practical reason, he was not used to all this. He had never seen something like this, so he used to always feel. But now, looking at Sita, it seems that when he saw this, Sarga 16 tries to highlight this, that looking at Sita, it seems that Hanuman for a few minutes or a few seconds or so, he lost his bhakti on Rama. Let's not say lost, or his bhakti on Rama actually reduced. Bhakti on Sita, bhakti, love and respect for Sita increased in Hanuman, it seems. And here Valmiki also makes a statement wherein he says that Rama, who's a form of Lord Vishnu, his one eye is of Surya, another eye is of Chandra. But looking at Sita, both are Chandra Netra. It is both are eyes of moon that represent the moon. Sun at least is strong, right? Bright. Its rays that are there that are quite sharp, but moon rays are always cool and calm. Sita is an symbol of the moon. Her both her eyes represent the moon full of beauty and calmness. This is a statement which is included in Valmiki Ramayanam also. So basically, Sarga 16 is very important because the perception of Hanuman about Rama and Sita totally changed. And he felt that today, if Rama is putting efforts for Sita and if Sita is still waiting for Rama, Sita also could have very easily married Ravana. He lived with him, enjoyed all the pleasures, right? Now, here one thing we have to know, though Ravana was a very evil man, he never gave Sita the status of a Dasi also. He always wanted Sita to be his queen, that too chief queen, and he wanted to give her all the pleasures, right? So Sita, if needed, 8 months she has waited, no sign of Rama at all. She could have easily gone and lived with Ravana, enjoyed all the pleasures of the world, but she also did not do. Till date, she is waiting patiently for Rama. Rama is also doing the same thing. He is waiting patiently for Sita. So now here, Sarga 16 is a turning point wherein Hanuman's perception about Rama and Sita totally changed. Till date, he had bhakti for Rama, but now Sita's bhakti towards Sita also increased. So here, that's why Hanuman chants these shlokas. He says, Sita has given up all kinds of luxuries. For Rama, she came to the forest along with him. And even now, though Ravana has abducted her, she is still patiently waiting for Rama to take her. नैषा पश्यति राक्षस्यो नेमान् पुष्पफलद्रुमान् एकस्तहृदयानूनं राममेवानुपश्यति. Hanuman thinks about the mental state of Sita and concludes that Sita surely is thinking only of Rama with ekasta hridaya, full single-minded attention. No any other thoughts are not at all entering her mind. She's not even looking at the demons around on looking around Ashokavana, nothing. Though her eyes are open, she is actually blind. It seems that is she is just thinking only about Rama. दुष्करं कुरुते रामो हीनो यदनया प्रभुः धारय धारयत्यात्मनो देहं तदुःखेनावसीदति. Lord Rama, in see now here Hanuman, he feels bad for both Sita and Rama because now he knew when he actually saw Sita, he knew their affection and the bond that both Rama and Sita had between them, and felt that Rama surely would have been suffering so much without seeing Sita or without living along with Sita. Therefore, thinking about this is not but a wonder. So it's very surprising. It gives me lot of dukkha. हिमामसितके शान्तां शतपत्रनिभेक्षणां सुखार्हां दुःखितां दृष्ट्वा ममापि व्यथितं मनः. Here in this condition, it grieves me when I see Sita also. These two verses, Sarga number 16, verse number 27 is Rama's grief, and verse number 28, Sita's grief, as described by Hanuman. If you want, you can make a note. So here, Sita was endowed with beauty also, just as Hanuman describes. She deserves to be happy, she not in sorrow, and I feel very bad to see her in this state. With this, Hanuman concludes Sarga 16. Sarga 17, again, the description of Sita's condition continues. How are Sita's companions? How are the Rakshasis? How are they treating her? And so on. Now, Hanuman is very patient. When he sees Sita, he doesn't jump down immediately. He's sitting on top of the Shimshapa tree and he waits. He sees around how the Demonesses are treating her, what exactly is happening, and so on. दिदृक्षमाणो वैदेहीं हनुमान् मारुतात्मजः सददर्शा विदूरस्ता राक्षसीर्घोरदर्शनाः एकाक्षीमेककर्णां च. Now how the Rakshasīs were there, their physical appearance. कर्णप्रावरणां तथा अकर्णां शङ्कुकर्णां च मस्तकोच्छ्वासनासिकाम् अधिकायोत्तमाङ्गीं च तनुदीर्घशिरोधरां ध्वस्तकेशीं तथा केशीं केशकम्बलधारिणीम्. While Hanuman was observing Sita, he saw many demonesses around her. Ekakshi, one had one eye, another had a single ear. Ekakarna, third had ears covering the body. Karana pravaranam tatha, so very ugly appearance. Akaranam shankukaranam cha, another did not have ears at all. A fifth one, he had pointed ears. Mastako shwasanasika, one had a nose on the head, as if the person was breathing through the nose on the head. Then Atikayottamangi, one had a long neck like a giraffe also. Tanudirgha shirodhara, another was hairless, another Dvastakeshim tata keshim keshakambaladharini. One had hair as if someone has covered the head with a blanket also. So in short, why this all this is given in detail is the appearance was very absurd. So just by looking at them only, we feel afraid. So imagine the condition of Sita, how she was living around such people for the last 8 months. Still continues. Now, why this has been mentioned in detail is the Palashruti of chanting. What is usually told is Palashruti of chanting these few verses is people who are born with some kind of handicaps, be it physical handicaps, especially those handicaps go away for children or it can be even elders. Physical handicaps, some abnormality that is there that goes away when we chant all these verses. Starting from Ekakshayim Ekakaranam cha Sarga 17 verse 5 onwards. That's why it is given in detail here also. लम्बकर्णललाटां च लम्बोदरपयोधरां लम्बोष्टीं चुबुकोष्टीं च लम्बास्यां लम्बुजानुकां ह्रस्वां दीर्घां तथा कुब्जां विकटां वामनां तथा करालां भुग्नवक्त्रां च पिङ्गाक्षीं विकृताननाम्. So you can, I'm not reading through all the description, hanging ears, a big lips, this, that, everything. So very, you can say, disturbing and a dangerous physical appearance all these reminiscences had. विकृताः पिङ्गलाः कालीः क्रोधना कलहप्रियाः कालाय समहाशूलकूटमुद्गरधारिणीः वराहमृगशार्दूल महिषाजशिवामुखीः गजोष्ट्रहयपादिश्च निखातशिरसोपराः एकहस्तैकपादाश्च खरकर्णिष्वकर्णिकाः गोकर्णीर्हस्तिकर्णीश्च हरिकर्णीस्तथा पराः अनासा अतिनासाश्च तिर्यङ्नासा विनासिकाः गजसन्निबनासाश्च ललाटोच्छ्वासनासिकाः. In fact, the physical appearance of all these demonesses was somewhat similar to even animals like boar, deer, tigers, goat, jackal, and so on. Some were looking like a donkey, they had ears like a donkey. Some had even elephant ears and so. So basically, though they had a demon human appearance, they were very dangerous to look at. They had the characteristics of animals also. These were Sita's companions. Sita's companions, or the demonesses who were surrounding Sita, and Sita was sitting in the middle of all of them. So this itself had disturbed Sita or had added to her grief. This was one more reason. Now, this is what Hanuman. Hanuman is looking on top of the Shimshapa tree, is looking down and he's seeing all this and describing. Still continues. Astipada Mahapada Gopada Padachulikaha Atimatra Shirogriva Atimatra Kuchodarihi Atimatrasya Netrascha Dirghajipvanakastata Ajamukhir Hastimukhihi Gomukhi Sukarimukhihi Hayoshtakharavatrascha Rakshasir Goradarshanaha शूलमुद्गरहस्ताश्च क्रोधनाः कलहप्रियाः करालादोम्रकेशीश्च राक्षसीर्विकृताननाः पिबन्ति सततं पानं सदा मांससुराप्रियाः मांसशोणितदिग्धाङ्गीः मांसशोणितभोजनाः ताददर्शकपिश्चेष्टो रोमहर्षणलालश रोमहर्षणदर्शनाः. Some had feet of even animals that were there, and at the same time, they had evil habits of always drinking, having flesh, blood, consuming such kind of food items, and their appearance itself was so disturbing. Looking at all this, स्कन्दवन्तमुपासीनाः परिवार्य वनस्पतिं ताददर्श कपिश्रेष्ठो रोमहर्षणदर्शनाः. Looking at all this, the hair stood erect in the body of Lord Hanuman. That is, he found all this very, very disturbing. He could not bear to see all this. He himself, for a few minutes, he had seen this and he couldn't see it any longer. And he was imagining the state of Sita, who had seen this for the last 8 months. And then he says, Malinena tu vastrena pariklashena bhamini samvrata mrigasha vakshi, not vakshi. ददर्श हनुमान् कपिः तां देवीं दीनवदनाम् अदीनां भर्तृतेजसा रक्षितां स्वेन शीलेन सीतामसितलोचना. After seeing all this, now Hanuman sees the face of Sita, and then, even in spite of seeing all this, there is no face, there is no dejection. She didn't feel anything because she was actually not seeing any of them. She was engrossed in the thoughts of Rama. She was meditating on Rama. So, looking at all this, Rakshitam Svena Shilena, Hanuman feels very happy. He bows down to Sita, looking at her strong character, and she tells, he feels that let anything come, but this lady Sita is not going to be affected by anything. And further he prays to Sita and Rama. Harshajani cha soshruni tam drashva madirekshana umuche hanumanstatra namaschakre cha raghavam namaskritva cha ramaya lakshmanaya cha viryavan Sita darshana samrashto Hanuman samrato bhavat. It seems that Hanuman, looking at all this, he felt as if Sita was not a normal lady at all. Goddess Mahalakshmi herself, Goddess Lakshmi, you can say any goddess, let's not say even Lakshmi. And Hanuman shed tears of joy, it seems, and immediately he felt very happy that due to the grace of Rama only today I am able to find Sita. And he prayed to Rama and covered himself, it seems, with the leaves of the Shimshapa Vriksham because he felt that if anyone sees him, then it will be trouble. Now, just imagine this again, the scene is very, very important. Whenever we complain about many things that are there in our lives, always note that even characters, let's not say even characters, even avatars, avatar purushas like Rama and Sita, even Hanuman for that matter, Hanuman is not God himself. Let's consider all of them, they had to undergo so much. Now, here, if you see Sita had not done anything to endure all this, right? To see such, just imagine yourself in this place. Can we even live around with such people? Even if someone wears dirty clothes or so, or maybe you see on the roadside when something has spilled down, even in our house also, you see something has spilled or there's a lot of dirt also. Say the house is not clean for a day also, we feel very dirty, right? We say, why it is like this? You clean it. Even if you say in our cupboard also, if things are not kept properly, we feel very dirty, right? So just for a few minutes or maybe a day, let's consider if things are not in their place, if there is dirt everywhere, we do not like to live in that place, right? Here you see, you saw that in detailed description. How was the condition? But still, Sita had no other option. She lived. And why all this? Now, at least in our case also, if some things like this happen, it is all due to our karma, right? We have the cycle of karma. But in the case of gods also, Sita had not done anything bad to face all this, correct? But still, for the sake of an avatara to enlighten, for human beings like us to teach us to do this avatara, Sita had to live there. Let it be even Chaya Sita, just as we had seen this initially, but still, the Leela had to be done and you had to endure all this. So, the conclusion, and even Hanuman for this matter, if you think of Hanuman, Hanuman had got nothing to do with this, right? What Sita, what Rama, of course, he was a great Rama Bhakta, he was a great devotee, everything is there. But still, why he had to endure all this? Why he had to face so much? Cross over the ocean and meet with obstacles, go through the entire palace, see all kinds of disturbing things, again come to Ashokvana, again see all these, the horrible appearance of these reminiscences. Why? Hanuman had no personal gain in this, right? But still, he ended up doing this. Why? To enlighten the world and for devotees like us to show the right path. So, through these incidents in the Ramayana and in Sundarakandam, it teaches a very important lesson that life is not always happy. At the same time, life is not always full of dukkha. Something comes in, we should face it properly. We have gods and avatars also who have done this for us. Where is our dukkha in front of all this? So the same thing is shown here, and this is when he looks at all this, Hanuman could not control himself. He sheds tears of joy. He says, I see this, I'm seeing this sight, I'm seeing this horrible devices for a few minutes. I'm not able to see this anymore. It is affecting me. How is this lady not being affected at all? Just look at the character of Sita. And with this, he prays to Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. Next. So, with this, Sarga 17 comes to an end. Let's continue. Now, in general, Sita's companions at Ashokvana. Now, the Phalashruti, as I told you, people who are suffering from any kinds of handicaps, it is believed, some people have their own experiences also. It is believed if these verses are chanted, definitely, at least to some extent, the handicaps do reduce when we chant this. That's why it is given all this. The same thing that I read in Sanskrit, the shlokas meaning is given. This is a chart to show the situation of Sita at Ashokavanam. First of all, the place is unknown. Right? It's not even Bharata Desha. She has come to another country altogether. People all around are unknown. All of them are her enemies. That too, they are not even good to look at. Language is not familiar. The place itself is very dirty and scary. And time is also running out because Ravana had already given her the 2 months period. That is there. Otherwise, he had told that you will become my Pratarashaha, you will become my breakfast once the time ends, right? At the same time, there were no signs of hope also. Hanuman, though is sitting on top of the tree, Sita till date she doesn't know till now. She doesn't know that Hanuman has come. No signs of Rama, Lakshmana, no message, nothing. So in this situation, what can a lady do? What will be her mental state? You just imagine. You'll get to know that we are nowhere. We are not even 1% in this, but still all of us we have complaints to do. So just imagine Sita's situation at Ashokvana. And here one thing which we have to note is Sita was such a lady. It seems that I'm not very sure if this mention is there in the Valmiki Ramayanam. It seems that she was born. Now, when she takes an avatara and Janaka brings her home, she was found on Bhumi, right? So she's a daughter of Bhumi Devi. She comes home, so she was born and brought up in a palace. She gets married at the age of 6. She goes to a palace. She enjoys the pleasures, everything. It seems that right from the time she was born, right from the time Janaka brought her to his palace, it seems under her feet also, it used to be as if soft cotton is being kept. Now, why this description is done is the literal meaning is how we have to consider is she had not even faced even 1% pain in her lives, as if small cotton or you can say velvet, as we say, so soft were her feet. Even under her feet also there'll be only soft clothes that are kept, carpets, this and that. So she was blessed with all kinds of luxuries and riches. And when we are used to such a life, if you have to go and live in the forest with pokey thorns, this and that. Rama also feels bad about this later when they go to the Vana. Then thorns keep pricking Sita's feet and blood starts oozing every time Rama and Lakshmana had to tie a cloth and so on around their feet. If you go through the entire Ramayana, you will know about this. And at that time, Rama also feels very bad, and he feels that when she was living in in Janakapuri, when she was living in Ayodhya, the feet, her feet, they used to never even have, like, if you see under your own feet also, sometimes for us dry skin, this that it comes, right? For Sita, it seems even under the feet also it used to be always pure and clean, just as any other part of the body. And she used to always walk on velvet, this and that. So let's not consider velvet. Basically, she had not faced any kinds of troubles at all, and now, so just imagine how she would be facing it now. Just as for us, a simple example, for a person who's living in the countryside also, you live in a city, very busy city, you're used to that. For us, even going from one place to another, even if you go to another city, it takes time, right? Things become difficult to get adjusted, this and that. You just imagine someone having the greatest of luxuries in their life. If they had to endure all this, it becomes so difficult. So again, this is the same verse. Looking at all this, Hanuman praises. And further, now what happens is, still after doing all this, Hanuman, he covers himself with the leaves of the Shimshapa tree so that no one sees him. Because if anyone sees him, they'll drive him out. Finally, Ravana enters Ashokavana. As Hanuman sees this, Ravanoyam Mahabahu iti sanchintya vanaraha avapluto mahateja Hanuman Marutatmajaha. Hanuman gets very angry when he sees Ravana and he steps little down as if he's going to attack. But then he controls himself. सतथाप्युग्रतेजस निर्दूतस्तस्य तेजसा पत्रगुह्यान्तरे सक्तो हनुमान् संवृतो भवत्. But still he controls himself, he remains in hiding, covers himself with leaves or so. Then ततो दृष्ट्वैव वैदेही रावणं राक्षसाधिपं प्रावेपतवरारोहा प्रभाते कदलीयता. Just on seeing Ravana, Sita trembled as if Prabhate Kadaliyata. You see the banana leaf also. Most of us, when we have food on that, it's very delicate, right? Even if you go to the market and buy it, you have to be very careful. It gets torn very easily. Even banana tree as such, if you just look at it, it's not a very strong tree, small tree, right? So if strong winds or rains come, it falls down. So like that, just by looking at Ravana, Sita trembled, Prabhate Kadaliyata, as just as the banana plant shakes and it falls down, similarly Sita started trembling. दशग्रीवस्तु वैदेहीं रक्षितां राक्षसीगणैः ददर्श सीतां दुःखार्तां नागं सन्नामिवार्णवे. Sita. Now just look at the descriptions again of Valmiki, the comparison. Looking at Ravana, it was like a sea and a boat is sunk inside it. So a sea of demons, Ravana, all evil things, and in between you have like a boat, Sita is sunk deep into it. असंवृतायामासीनां धरण्यां संशितव्रतां छिन्नां प्रपतितां भूमौ शाखामिव वनस्पतेः. She looked like, now here there are all different descriptions that are done. She looked as if a broken branch, a branch had been cut off from the tree and fallen on the ground. Balamandana chitrangi mandanarhama mandita Mrinali pankadigdeva vibhati na vibhati cha. Her body was full of dust. Though she deserved all kinds of good things and luxuries, it was like a lotus stem in mud. But it was looking bright, yet it was dull. Just as if you have ever seen a lotus stem in between a lake or so, when you remove it, the lotus is actually very bright. It looks very beautiful, but the stem is full of mud, right? So same was the condition of Sita. Though she looked very dull, it actually, that was her tejas that is there, she looked very bright. शुष्यन्तीं प्रदतीमेकां ध्यानशोकपरायणां दुःखस्यान्तमपश्यन्तीं रामां राममनुव्रताम्. But in spite of all this, her devotion and her bhakti on Rama has got no words because she was absorbed only in the thought of Rama alone. She was crying and she was not able to end her grief at all because she couldn't find Rama at all. There were no signs of Rama. वेष्टमानां तथा विष्टां पन्नगेन्द्रवधूमिव धूप्यमानां ग्रहेणैव रोहिणी धूमकेतुना. She was like a queen, serpent queen, when the star Rohini is shadowed by a comet. So basically, here what happens is Rohini nakshatra that is there in the sky, or any nakshatra. Nakshatra is nothing but a star. Just as when a comet, you can say a flying heavenly body passes by, we cannot see the stars, right? Similarly, here also Sita, as if she was also looking like a very frightened queen also, and the comet was there. The heavenly body was like Ravana. So that is Ravana's might was so much that Sita was totally trembling in grief. Vrittashila kune jatam आचरवति धार्मिके आचारवति धार्मिके पुनः संस्कारमापन्नां जातामिव च दुष्कुले. Even though she was born in a very good family, she was her life was as if she was passing through someone who belonged to the lower classes also. Let's not say lower classes, but she had to face a lot of troubles as if she had done things that were evil also. That is, she had to face the results of her karma. But in her case, it was not at all so. She had done only good things always. But still, because she had to endure so much, Hanuman feels very bad and says the same thing in the Sarga. अभूतेनापवादेन कीर्तिं निपतितामिव आम्नाया नामयोगेन विद्यां प्रशिथिलामिव. Just as whenever learned people or scholars they share their knowledge also, some people try to just put it away, right? They'll just wash it away without knowing the meaning of it, without understanding it properly. Some people just pass about comments like. Similarly, the study of Vedas also, some people they not they know it is very old, how can we apply it, what is the knowledge, it is not at all applicable, and so on. Such statements are done by fools only. So she was like that, as if that is she is in a she herself is very good, but when such fools come and make such statements, so Ravana is like that, wherein was such a fool that he did not know that whatever he does to Sita, nothing is going to happen to it. Just as to the Vedas also, you don't study it, you study it. Whatever happens, it's not going to affect the Vedic studies. They are going to remain the base of our culture, of our scriptures, and so on. So the same thing here. Sita also is a great lady. She doesn't need Ravana, but because of Ravana's behavior towards her, it seems as if she lacks reputation, she lacks respect, and so on. सन्नामिव महाकीर्तिं श्रद्धामिव विमानितां पूजामिव परीक्षेणाम् आशाप्रतिहतामिव. She still had hope. She was meditating on Rama, but still somewhere she was frustrated. She had grown dull and so on. Ayati. Yes, someone saying something? Yeah, tell. Hmm. Maybe it is a Adhika Pata. If you want, you just note it down. Hmm. Hmm. Correct. Correct. Hmm. It doesn't come. Yes, it is there. Correct. It was basically why it was given so is she had got this Chudamani from her house, and even Dasharatha also had given it to her after a sign after the marriage had taken place. So basically, it was you can say like a family gem also. That's the reason why she always wore the Chudamani on her head. This reference comes in the Valmiki Ramayanam also. Yes. No, no, not at all. No, correct. Yes, correct. That's what. That's what. So she had the ornaments that were there. That's why I told you, right? Because as such, she was not given the sannyasa pariksha, first of all. And secondly, if you are born as, if you are blessed with saubhagyam, you have to live in that way. And this is for, in general, for all of us. If you are blessed with a good condition also, That's why we should always be in that condition. Like some people, they have this habit. This is, of course, with Sita also, she has to wear this, no doubt. But even in the case of all of us, also normal human beings, if you see our elders also, they might not have 100 clothes in their cupboard. They might have 10. But all those 10 that are there, they look very good, right? So in fact, some people have this habit, right? They'll have, say, you can say the cupboard is full of clothes, but still they'll end up wearing only one or two. Will be very old, will be torn or so on. Such things should not be done at all. If we do such things, if even such things are even broken things for that matter, it may not be even clothes. If to some extent, if we are blessed and if we can afford, then definitely such things should never be kept. These are all signs of Alakshmi. Lakshmi, goddess Mahalakshmi, she comes to our house and she goes away if such things are there. Just as all of us also, right? We don't like to go to a place where there is no prosperity at all. Even things are good. Even if, I'll give you a very simple example. Even if you go to a restaurant to eat something, we look at the restaurant, right? You go to any restaurant, the food will be the same. Maybe taste differs this and that. You have the menu card, whatever you want, you can order, you can have. But still, we look at the surroundings, right? How is this restaurant? No, 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 I will not go this. It's very small. The place is this, place is crowded, this, that. You have so many things, right? You see, some people, their list will never get over. Why? Because the surroundings, something we call ambience, right? That also matters to us. The same thing, the ambience of our house, ambience of one's own personality also matters for Goddess Mahalakshmi. So all these things of Alakshmi that are there should never be done. Especially the woman of the house should always be, you can say, good, dressed up and so on. So it may not be always like on a very large scale, you just dress yourself up and just move about. It's not like that. But at least with basic, if we are blessed, then surely we should not wear torn clothes, again very old clothes or so, rags and so on. In fact, as per our Shastras, you should not even, if you have a cloth is torn also, you should not even stitch as such. Because clothes also are considered to be the Lord Himself. Even the clothes, the vastram that we wear is actually a form of God. So we should not even stitch that. But of course, in today's time, such things, if you see, whenever we stitch, we go cross. Right? The thread, if you see, it goes cross. And wherever, if you use the same thread, it's fine. But still, even if you use the same thread, you look at it very closely, you can see that the vastram is being stitched. Right? So in olden times also, people, if you see, they will not wear stitched clothes at all. What they will do is they'll tie knots on that. You would have ever seen. They'll tie a knot also. When you tie a knot, that's why women also in olden times, if you see, the ends of their sari, they'll tie a knot and keep it. Of course, that was for different reasons. But still, if anywhere things were being torn also, like a small knot used to be torn, but the cloth will never be stitched because stitching also is actually wrong. That is, when I say stitching is wrong, is when we have the cloth is torn, we go to the tailor and get it restitched. Right? That should actually not be done. And today's times, of course, you buy a new cloth also, it gets torn very easily. That's a different thing. But generally, clothes also. That's why clothes are also a form of God only. The Lord Himself resides in our clothes. That's the reason why we have to wear all good clothes that are there. If you wear bad clothes, it is as if Abharanam, the God, because it represents God, we have to always keep things clean. Right? You wear bad clothes, it is as if you're keeping the Lord only dirty. So that's the reason why we have Sita and other Sita as well as Rama, Lakshmana, everyone was told to wear, especially Sita, because it was a sign of Saubhagyam, so to always wear good clothes, ornaments, and so on, even though she went to the forest. Even in the case of Rama, Lakshmana also, though they wore bark ornaments, their clothes were very, very clean. That is, they used to wash them every day, this and that. They had taken those set of clothes so that they could change. It will never be torn and things like that. So even importance of clothes, the clothes that we wear also has got a lot of importance in our culture. Okay. Ah, Lakshmi ji. Hmm. 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 Correct. Correct. So that's what. Though we, some things we have to. Like as times change, things do change. We cannot deny that. But as far as possible, whatever things we can avoid, we can. Right? In fact, on every sari or every garment that we buy, also we do some restitching, this and that, because otherwise the thread starts coming. So those things we cannot avoid. But now, like she said, ready-made and things are easy. But then maybe you wear it 10 times, you'll get it, rather than making it ready-made. So whatever can be avoided, to that extent we should avoid. Okay, coming back. पद्मिनीमिव विध्वस्तां हतशूरां चमूमिव sorry आयति आयतीमिव विध्वस्ताम् आज्ञां प्रतिहतामिव दीप्तामिव दिशं काले पूजामपरतामिव. So just as whenever you can say yajna or a homa is being done or a sacrifice is being done, all things have to be in order. Right? But if someone comes, like Rakshasas come and just when rishis were doing sacrifices, they just blow things away. So everything gets spread here and there. Sita's condition was like that. So just see how Valmiki has used different ways of comparison. We cannot even imagine such things, right? पद्मिनीमिव विध्वस्तां हतशूरां चमूमिव प्रभामिव तमोध्वस्ताम् upakshinaamivapaga. She was as if like a lotus creeper where all light had all gone away, brightness had vanished, only darkness existed. देदीमिव परामृष्टां शान्तामग्निशिखामिव पौर्णमासीव सीमिव निशां राहुग्रस्तेन्दुमण्डलाम्. She was looking like the moon eclipsed by Rahu on the full moon night, and as if the fire which is always blazing in the puja room, as if that also had been burnt away. उत्कृष्टपर्णकमला वित्रासितविहङ्गमां हस्तिहस्ता परामृष्टाम् आकुलां पद्मिनीमिव. When an elephant walks in the forest, whatever comes under its feet, it just tramps and crushes everything, right? So her appearance was also around a pond. There are many small shrubs, trees, and so on. Just as when the elephant comes and crushes all of those, how will be the condition of the pond? Sita's condition was like that. पतिशोकातुरां शुष्कां नदीं विस्रावितामिव परयां मृजया हीनां कृष्णवक्षनिशामिव. She appeared like a water body, a river gone dry, and during the Amavasya night, all glow goes away, right? There's only darkness everywhere, the moon is not there. Sita's condition was like that. गृहीतामालितां स्तम्भे यूथपेन विनाकृतां निःश्वसन्तीं सुदुःखार्तां गजराजवधूमिव. She was grieving as if a female elephant had been separated from a herd of elephants. So she was grieving like that for her group of elephants to come back. Now, after seeing all this, in the next Sarga, Sarga 20, Ravana again gives several offers to Sita, saying that come, give away your grief, come and live with me, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you the happiness of all the three worlds, this, that, everything. But, and finally he says that Rama cannot come to take you, Rama is no match for you. Even if he comes, you will not be blessed with anything, you have to live in the forest only. Therefore, you leave Rama, forget Rama, and you accept me. Let's see this in detail next time. Today time is up. We'll stop.